His name is Curt, a really funny guy, and this is his podcast, In the Wry. It's the In the Wry Podcast. Curt Fletcher.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's episode number 60 of In the Wry Podcast with Curt Fletcher. I know it's taken a long time to get to 60. It's like the Greyhound bus of podcasts. I should have been at 60 a long time ago, but I don't record all the time, and sometimes I do record, and I don't like it, and I delete it, and I don't share it. So that happens quite a bit. Actually, it hasn't happened that quite often. Maybe 4 times. I don't know. Maybe this one will make the cut. Hopefully it'll make the cut. I waited a few weeks to record one because I didn't have a lot of shows to talk about or anything like that. And I'll probably talk about college football in this one because I'm a big college football fan. And yeah. So hopefully you're into college football too. Maybe we could talk about it. You can tell me who your favorite team is, and I can make fun of them. If it's Nebraska, for sure. But yeah, I shouldn't talk shit. My team is 2-1, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and they lost to Iowa State, which was awful. And their offense looks like shit. It was kind of cool. Their last game was against Nevada, and it was on Saturday. And I had a gig Saturday, so I only got to watch the first quarter and part of the second quarter. But they had like lightning delays all night, so I was able to do my show and then watch the end of the game pretty much, because the game didn't end till after midnight. So that worked out nice, and they won 27-0. So that was even better. But yeah, their year started off not great. They beat South Dakota State 10-7, I think it was. No, 7-3 it was, because they had a field goal and 2 safeties. They missed a field goal, and then they fumbled near the goal line. And their offense is just terrible. Their defense is really good. Yeah, the Iowa State game, they lost 10-7. They actually scored a touchdown right away because they blocked a punt. They were able to punch it in from pretty close. I think it was the first drive of the game even. So they're up 7-0 right away, and then didn't score the rest of the game. And then gave up one really long scoring drive because the offense sucked so bad that the defense was tired. And they lost to Iowa State. And that's not good. So Iowa State blows. So they're 2-1 on the season. The Hawkeyes are. They play Rutgers tomorrow at Rutgers. And Rutgers, their offense doesn't seem like they're very good either. So probably a low-scoring game, if I had to guess. Put money on it. And then the Hawkeyes play Michigan the following week. And I have 3 shows that day, so I'm probably not going to watch the game live. I think it's an early game, but so I might be able to catch it. I have a gig in the afternoon, though, performing during a hot dog eating contest. So that's how my career is going, performing at a hot dog eating contest. But I'm sure your mom will be there, and she'll probably do pretty well at the hot dog eating contests. Let's talk about some gigs I did recently. I did, since I had to postpone a lot of my road stuff, I've been doing a few local gigs that worked out pretty nice. We did a gig at the Brew Lab in Rio Rancho, which is right down the streets. Usually they have a PG-13 show where kids are allowed to be there, and that's usually on a Thursday night. And this one they decided to do a Friday night out in the patio area out back. And it wasn't PG-13, it was rated R. I mean, you could do whatever you want material wise, but like it wasn't billed as a dirty show or anything like that. But I don't know. It ended up being really cool. It was a cool setup. I hadn't been back there in a long time, and I like the way they set it up. It's really cool for a comedy show. And the comics are great. Karen Carson hosted. She always does great. Ian Ty Jamerson did great. Isabel Madley did great. Brian Valencia did awesome. He's a really cool dude. Hard to follow. He had a really good set. He was fun to follow, though. He got the crowd really into it and stuff. Like, he's kind of a high-energy guy, so, really gets the crowd going, which is awesome. I actually met Brian in Las Vegas a few years ago at the World Series of Comedy, and didn't know he was from Albuquerque or anything until I met him. So it's cool that he's around and doing gigs and stuff, 'cause he's cool, super funny dude. If you get a chance to see him, go check him out. So yeah, the Brew Lab gig was a lot of cool times. Really good crowd. It was outside. The weather was awesome, which is cool. Excuse me. And it's a cool place, Brew Lab. If you want to go see a show there, they do the PG-13 show there the first Thursday of every month, and that's hosted by Karen Carson. So you can actually you can bring the kids to that one if you want. It's really up to you. You can. Another gig I did. The next gig I did was also outdoors at the State Fair. We were there promoting Dry Heat Comedy Club, and it's kind of a weird little setup, but it was a lot of fun. They set up like this little stage for us in a corner of the beer garden area, and we had like a little sound system, and they set up some folding chairs, and there's already some chairs out there for people to just sit there and drink and stuff. And excuse me, but yeah, there's like a big line of people waiting for beers, so that was kind of our crowd. The people standing in line waiting for beers, and then some people actually came and sat. So it's kind of like a rotating crowd, which is never ideal for a comedy show. But like you can definitely not do many callbacks or anything like that. You just kind of, like with my material, it's a lot of one-liners and stuff like that. So it was a pretty good for that type of deal. I had a blast. Hopefully everybody else did. Joe Quesada kicked it off and hosted, and then Mark J went up, and then Don Sherry, and then me. And I thought it was a cool show. We had a few people that hung out and watched the show. They had nice things to say, and I had some guy come up to me while I was performing. He just like walked right up to the stage, and I don't know what the hell he was saying. Like, it didn't seem like he was drunk, but he seemed like he might have been like maybe had some of the autism or something like that. Maybe. But he might have been on something too. But he seemed harmless, Like the sound guy behind me, like he was ready to whoop the dude's ass if he needed to, but. The only thing I could really make out what he was saying was something about taxes. I think he was talking about taxing, how I could tax my jokes or something like that. And it was kind of weird. And, I don't know. He just bugged me for a little bit and then went away. But then he started yelling some stuff, and I have no clue what he was talking about. So that was a couple minute interruption there. Yeah, like I said, it was fun. But it's also one of those gigs where it's like, I don't want to be up here for a long time. And so I was slated to do 30 minutes, but they let me early in case I wanted to get off early, which I did. So I ended up doing like 25, I think, which wasn't bad, I hadn't been to the state fair in years either. And, I really have no desire to go unless I'm performing. There's really not a lot of stuff that's fun for me. Overpriced food, that's not appealing to me. Got to catch this band playing. You got to see like the last 3 or 4 songs of them. That was kind of cool. But I don't know, like just dealing with like the parking and all that stuff. Like it was kind of cool as a performer. I didn't have to deal with that. We had our own little parking lot, and I got to just go in for free, kind of go in the back way, and so that was nice. Didn't have to deal with all that. Plus, it was pretty late at night, so it wasn't like a huge crowd trying to get in. It was like a Friday night I think I got there at like 8:30. And I performed at 9:30. So, yeah, it was a fun experience overall, though. I feel like next year they could do it a little better. Have like a better stage and maybe a little better. The sound system was all right, but it was just like, I don't know. The stage wasn't anything great, but at least you were like elevated from the crowd, so I guess that was okay. But yeah, overall, not a bad experience. It was fun, and ran into a couple friends of mine that I hadn't seen in a while, so that was also cool. And then, the show I did Saturday that interrupted my football watching was at Turtle Mountain. The Turtle Mountain show is back, which I'm super excited about. It's one of my favorite shows in town. Not only is it right down the street from me, but it's hosted by Eddie Stevens. So it's cool to see Eddie back in the comedy scene. He took a couple years off, and now he's back. And which is cool because Eddie's one of my favorites. So yeah, the Turtle Show. Yeah, I got there like 30 minutes before the show was about to start, and it was already packed. It's a great room for comedy too. If you haven't been there, definitely go check out a Turtle Show. If you're a comedian, try to get on the Turtle Show. It's really fun. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's just it's like a fun comedy club type crowd. Like when you travel a lot and you're doing cool comedy clubs, like it's similar to that. It's a tight room too. It's a room off to the side from the restaurant, so you don't hear excuse me, any of the outside noise from the restaurant, anything like that. And it's a cool show, and I've done it several times over the years. Always had fun. Was the lineup we had? Eddie hosted. My buddy Casey Fitzgerald was on there. AJ Martinez was on there. It's cool seeing AJ out again. He's one of those guys who didn't do comedy for a while either, it seemed like, and now he's getting back into it. And it's cool seeing the old school guys coming back. And he's super funny too, so just a great show from the beginning to the end. The crowd was a lot of fun. I was able to try some new stuff at the State Fair and at Turtle Mountain, and it worked pretty well, so I feel pretty good about that. I've been working, a lot of new stuff, working on a lot of new stuff, and trying some out here and there, and I feel pretty good about it. Which is pretty cool. Going through some of my stuff, I feel like if the stuff I'm writing right now works out, I should have enough material to record a new album next year sometime. Yeah. Should be able to. I think I will anyway. Plus, I've got some old jokes that I never put on an album, so I might bring a couple of those back just to put on the album, just to get them out there. Plus, I'm recording a one-liner CD pretty soon. I've got, I think I counted out 110 one-liners. I might just chop it down to 100 just so it's an even 100. See how that goes. I might just record all 110 and then chop 10 of them out. See how long it is. See if I can hit 30 minutes. I might just record it myself with no audience. I don't know. Haven't really decided yet. Excuse me. So yeah, those are the shows I've been doing. I've got some shows coming up. Like I said, October 1st, I've got 3 shows. One of them is at a hot dog eating contest during the day. And then I've got 2 headlining gigs that night. One's at 7 o'clock at a place called The Bite, which I think is in Nob Hill. And then right after that, I head down to Dry Heat Comedy Club and headline a show there, which starts at 9. So I should be going on, I don't know what time. Anyway, if you want to go to the show, I've got 2 headline shows that night. So one at The Bite, 7 o'clock, one at Dry Heat, which starts at 9. And another gig I'm super excited for is on October 30th. We are doing Night of the Living cover comics at Dry Heats. I believe that's a Sunday night. Could be wrong, but we did the show last year at Inside Out, and it was a lot of fun, but the sound system was really bad, which bummed me out, because we had a really good show, and a lot of people did awesome jobs as the comedians they picked. Like Jack Tapestry as Bill Hicks was one of my favorites. Carla Vasquez did Gallagher, which was hilarious and messy. And then Scotty Goff did Ben Creed, which is funny because nobody in Albuquerque really knows who Ben Creed is. So I thought it was pretty cool because I've known Ben for years, and so I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I performed last year as Zach Galifianakis, and this year I'm going to perform as Troy Baxley, one of my heroes. So I'm super excited about that. So yeah, I'm probably going to listen to Baxley for like 2 weeks straight before that gig, and so if you see me, I'm probably going to be talking like Troy Baxley those 2 weeks, and that'll be fun. So that'll be cool. Hopefully I'll get that recorded. Send it to Troy, see what he thinks about it. Hope he likes it. That's one of the things he does in his set. He sings after his jokes. Yeah, I got another gig. November 25th, I'll be at the Guild Theater, Nob Hill. It's a late show. I believe it's Friday at like 10:30. So that'll be cool. I love the Guild Theater. Keith that owns the place, super great dude. It's a cool venue. I love it. I haven't been there a little over a year probably. But he let me perform one time. They were doing a double feature one night. It was they were showing comedy movies. So the first one they did was The King of Comedy, starring Robert De Niro, and then the second one was Lenny, which is a movie about Lenny Bruce. He was played by Dustin Hoffman. And so before each of the movies started, I got to perform 15-minute sets for the crowd, and then introduce the movies and sit there and watch. And that was one of the funnest experiences I've ever had doing stand-up. It was kind of cool. So yeah, those are the upcoming gigs I have right now. I have nothing else planned. I'm sure I'll book some more stuff soon. Also, my nephew's been getting into Dungeons and Dragons, and he wants to play that. And I haven't played since I was a teenager. We used to stay up all night and play it. And so I'm actually working on a campaign, and I've never done that before. I've never been a dungeon master. I was always a paladin. So that's pretty interesting. So I've been reading up about Dungeons and Dragons a lot lately, and we all ordered our own dice and stuff like that, so that's going to be pretty cool. We'll have to talk about that on one of the episodes. Yeah, Yeah, not really a lot else to talk about. I do want to thank John Singleton for the outro music and my buddy Jarrett from Bowling for Soup for the intro music. Bowling for Soup has a new single coming out next week called Hello Anxiety. So that's pretty exciting. Should be on the radio in your hometown, hopefully. And Jarrett actually, I don't know if I've talked about this, I'm pretty sure I have, but he released a country album under the name Jarrett Ray Reddick, and he's got his second single. I think it just released today. It's called Drunk as It Takes. So if you want to hear it, call your local country station and request it. Or download it on iTunes or whatever, or Apple Music. That's what I do. But you can always request it too on the radio. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's about it for this episode. Check out. I always update my website before anything else. So whenever I add gigs, I always add them right away to funnyfletcher.com. Just click on my schedule. I also have links to all my podcasts on there. Got some comedy videos on there, things like that. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for tuning in. Please follow me on all the social medias and stuff. You know, I don't really use TikTok a whole lot or anything. I don't know. I'm getting old and I don't know how to use all that shit. But you can follow me on YouTube. I post some comedy videos on there. I post the podcast on there. The audio version of it anyway. And yeah, check it out. We'll talk to you next time. See you guys later.